What's up guys, and welcome to my channel Flame with a 4. In this video we are going to be doing Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 Stage 7. So this is going to be issue 7. Issue 7 has all these pieces, all these goodies to build on top of our engine that we already have begun. So here is the nice blue engine that we have started to build. We're going to be building on top of this. So let me just pop that down there for a second. We are not going to be building onto anything other than the engine for the next 4 issues. So we're going to be building this engine up hopefully to an almost complete stage. In this set of issues, which we have had, it shows you again one magazine, 4 issues into the magazine. So then you have to just go to your stage. So stage 7, 8, you got 9 and 10. So we'll need to do our parts checklist, which we will do, which we will get those out. But before we do that, we got our free number plate. So the license plate, the Ecto-1 license plate is just there. So that's really cool. Mine's got a little bit of damage there, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's absolutely perfect. I like the number plate. It's a nice tin effect, so it's really cool. And it has actually got mounting, so you could actually mount it to something. They're all really pre-cut out holes here. So you could, if you wanted to, mount it on the wall, or you could mount it, you know, just onto a plaque or something, or frame it, because it'll be quite easy to do. It's quite thin, as you can see. It's not very thick at all, so it'll be really cool to have up. So there you go. So that's what we got. So that was our free little freebie that we got for subscribing. So that's really cool. Right. So the next thing we're going to do is grab all the parts, take all the parts out, lay them out, and then we're going to talk about what we've got, and then we're going to build them onto the engine. So bear with me while I go do that for you guys. Okay guys, all the pieces are now laid out, ready to go. So we're just going to go through them real quick. So we got 07A, which is going to be this section here, which is the timing belt cover. Then we have 07B, which is this tiny little bracket here. That's going to be the timing belt cover connector. 07C, which is going to be the cooling system, which is going to be just here. Everything is actually painted blue, but there you go. Oil sump, which is 07D, so that's the oil sump there. And then we have the engine block top, which is 07E, and that's going to be this section here. So that's 07E. Then also distributor assembly 07F, which will be this black piece here with the distributor cap on. So that's so cool, so detailed, that piece. Engine block cover 07G is going to be this piece here. Then pipe joint, which is 07H. 07H is going to be this tiny little piece just here. Don't even know if you can see it, but that is there. So let's put that out of the way there. Intake manifold. Again, that's going to be 07I, which is just here, so that's the intake manifold. The breather cap is 07J, so 07J is this breather cap here. And then we're going to have the right engine block, which is 07K. So 07K is going to be this part of it, so this is metal. The rest of that so far is plastic, but this engine block piece is metal. Right engine support 07L is going to be this black piece here, and then we want the 07M, which is the right exhaust manifold, which is going to be this silver piece here, and then the rest of it, the last part is going to be the fuel pump lower, which is 07N, and that is sitting just here. That's another silver bit which is just there. The rest of them 1.75mm screws, which is AP screws, BP screws, EP screws, DM screws, and EM screws, which we have laid out just here. So we have tested which screwdriver fits our thing, which fit our screws the best, and that is that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to now proceed with putting it together. So the first thing you need to do is go through the magazine to get to stage 7. And then we're going to build on. So the first one it wants us to do is to get figure A, which they call 07A, which is this, and we need to attach 07B, which is going to be this small section here, and we just need to place that on top, which is going to be there, and we just need to attach it with 2 EM screws. So we're just going to quickly go do that and show you close up. So there you go, guys, that is now attached onto there. So that is the 2 EM screws holding it on there. I'm not too sure whether you can see it from there, but there's an EM screw there, and that's just holding that bracket. You want to make sure that this bit is further over to the right hand side facing my right, to your right, sorry, so on this side here, because there is a gap between that is different. So make sure you check that out when doing so. The next thing it wants us to do, it wants us to attach 07C, which is this section here. We need to attach that onto the front here. So we're just going to quickly pop that onto there just to show you how that goes on, just like so. And then we just need to pop 2 screws just in there, and they're going to be AP screws. We'll do that and then we'll show you what it looks like once we've done. So there you have it. So that is now, oh, careful that. So this is gone onto there. There is a locating lug, which I'm going to use this to point to. There's a locating lug that's just inside there, guys. And these are the 2 AP screws that are flush fitted into that section there. And then what it's asking us to do next is to attach it to the side of the engine, which we did in the previous issues. So we need to install it so that it's this way up, and we need to put it into this section here. And there is a screw, a DM screw, which is going to go through there and then into that section there. So we're just going to quickly pop that in and we'll show you what that looks like in a sec. I'm just going to show you guys a small issue that I've come across. So I don't know if you can see here, but this section here on the mold is sticking out that way. So what we need to do is just straighten that. I'm not too sure how that's got like that, whether it was molded like that. What we're going to do, this is going to be covered up anyway. So we're just going to get it, I'm just going to slightly, you have to be careful with this because this is die cast, so you can break it. Just slightly bend that back, because what's happening is this section isn't lining up in the hole how it should do. So once you've bent that back in position lightly, then your screw should hopefully line up. Do not try and do it without doing that first. Make sure that the screw is going to go in nicely. If it doesn't, then you probably will need to just bend it a tiny bit more. So what we're going to do is just bend that tiny bit more. This is only because my mold has this piece sticking out. So if yours doesn't, then don't worry about doing this. This is just because my mold isn't great. So I'm just going to see if I can get that screw into there now. Just bear with me while I do that. This is why we do these video, guys, just in case yours is like this and then you need to do that. So there you go. So that screw's going in nice and easy now. So there you go. And I'll just show you closely in a moment where that's gone. So the screw there goes into that section, and that is the DM screw which goes into here. This piece of metal here on the outside was not letting this go flush to it and not letting it go into that hole there, which is a locating lug where it's got to go. But once you have it in place, as you saw there, if you do need to bend it, please be careful not to break that section, and then you can just pop your screw in there like that. Alright guys, so we're just going to now move on to the next section, which is not including this piece. I'm just going to pop that out of the way for a second. Right, so the next thing it wants us to do, it wants us to take 07E, which is this bottom section here, and we just need to put 07F on top, just like so. But what we will need to do when putting this in to position, right, we need to make sure it's around the right way. So it needs to go around this way, and that will just sit in there. So you want to make sure it's round that way there, and then it sits in like that, and then this is going to be screwed in from underneath with an AP screw. So I'm just going to quickly pop one in and just show you where that is located. So once you've done that, guys, that is where that goes. So that just slots into this section here. Underneath there, you will see that there's an AP screw just under there, okay? So that is how that's held on. So you want to make sure that yours looks a bit like that. So the next thing it wants us to do, it wants us to get 07G, which is this next plastic piece, when we need to put on 07H. So we're just going to go do that. So 07H is this tiny little piece which you can barely see, but what I'll do is I'll try and pop it on so you can see. Oh, it's so small, it's just fallen off. It just sits on top just like that there. It looks like a little tiny miniature tank. I'm going to hold that in place, and I'm just going to put in the bottom of it the BP screw that it wants me to. I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in 1 second. So there you go, that little tiny piece there, I don't know if you can see it very well, but that little tiny piece there, which is 07H, has now been screwed in at the bottom with a BP screw just under here. And then you want to go get this, which you're now calling figure E, and then you just need to place that on top and then line it up with the holes that are underneath. You have to make sure that that section slides under there, because it's got to go underneath the distributor cap there, and then that sits in just like so. And then you will need to put the 2 screws in under here, which are 2 AP screws, so we're just going to quickly go ahead and do those. So guys, that is now done. So the 2 AP screws are just here, and they're holding this top section on there, which they're calling figure E. What we need to do now is make figure G, which is going to be this top section here. We need to make sure we get it around the right way. So it's asking it to go on like that, and then what it's saying here is for the smaller section to go at the top and line up in those little locating lugs there, so it looks like that when it's on. So there you go. So we're just going to pop that together. We're just going to use 4 AP screws. We're going to pop those in, and we'll be back in 1 moment. So there you have it, guys. They are now in place. So I'm just going to show you where they go. So there's one here, there, and there, and they are the AP screws holding it together like that. So if I just hold it up there, you can see that the distributor cap is here, and then this is the way round it wants it to go. And we're going to now move on to the next page to see what else we have to do. So we're now continuing to build onto this section here. So what we need next, we need to attach 07J to 07N. 07N is this shiny piece here, and we need to attach that on there with the 07J. We need EP screws to do that. It's quite fiddly, but I'll attach the 2 and then we'll show you what it looks like in a sec. So guys, that is now done. So I'll just try and show you, if the camera will focus, that section there, which is 07N, is now attached to 07J using 2 EP screws, which go in there and there. Once that section's done, you will need to now attach it to the main piece that we've just been building onto. You need to make sure it goes in the right way. So it wants us to put it in this way, so it's facing towards the back, and then you will need to spin it upside down and just pop a screw into there. So you're going to have to put in that section here. It doesn't actually say what screw you need to put in. No, it does. It tells you to put an AP screw in there, sorry. So we're just going to go pop an AP screw in there, and then we'll come back in a sec. I'm not going to lie to you guys, that bit was quite fiddly to do. So you just need to make sure that it's in the locating lug there, and that you put in the AP screw just underneath here. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to move on to the next section that it's asking us to do. We need to go grab the main body of the engine again, which is here. Just move a couple of pieces out of the way. The main sump, which is there. we need to install that. So what we're going to do, this is 07D. Once you've got the engine round the right way, you will need to slide that into place, and that will line up just like that at the bottom. And then in here you'll need to put 2 EM screws, so we're going to pop those in and then we'll show you what that looks like when that's finished. Okay guys, I'm not going to lie, this didn't line up brilliantly. At the bottom here, the sump didn't line up great. So what I had to do is I just had to put it in at an angle, and then once I got the screws started off, obviously the screws were in straight, but once I got them started off, I could lever it around a tiny bit at the bottom to make it more level so that you can see there that it's all held into place now. I don't know if anyone else struggled to get this in, just to line up, but it is now in place, so we're fine on that. Like, the next thing that it's asking us to do is quite a small section of this. So we need to take this metal piece and we need to put the engine mount, which is just here, into the engine mount bracket, which is just there. So what we need to do is make sure it's run the right way. So just pop that in to place, line up the holes. I'm just going to go pop those in. I just need to, there you go, click it into place. I'm just going to put those screws in and then we'll come back and then that'll be the final piece. So there you have it guys, that's the last bit we're doing on this issue 7. So what you need to do is put the 07L into the 07K section here and attach it with 2 DM screws just there and there. And then what you will be left with is a few screws left over. And then we will need to have these sections here, so this section hasn't been attached yet, and then also this section like that with the Cadillac bit with the bottom sump attached. And then we're going to have, I'm just going to bring them over here so we can get a nice look at what we've got left over, and then we'll have that piece as well, which we've got left over there. I'm just going to pop them down. So you'll be left, there's 4 sections that you'll have, plus a few screws that are left over, which you always will have. So that's what it should look like on stage 7 of the build. What we'll do now is we're just going to go overleaf and turn that over just so that we can see how much more of this we have to build. So in this section here, it's saying that that's what stage 7 should look like. We also do actually need to attach this section, so sorry about that guys, we do need to just put this section over. It doesn't ask us to screw this section in place, it just says you just have to click it over the holes, so I guess that will go in at a later time. So what will happen, the distributor cap needs to be on this section at the back here, so let me just quickly do that. There you go. So that just pushes over there. So I'll just show you it can come off. So they're not asking us to attach this yet. What they're saying is that that section just sits over there. So if you want to keep it separate for now, you can. But that just sits into there like that. And then it will make it look like this. So it's looking quite beefy. This is so much bigger than when we did the DeLorean 1/8 scale one. This is such a beast of an engine. So you can imagine how big this car is going to be. But there you go. That's what it should look like. So you should have this in the last bit of the section if you want to attach that bit. And then you would need this. You've got 3 pieces left over, just like that. Guys, can't wait to do the next one with you. Let's have a quick sneak peek and see what we're going to be doing. So stage 8 is the right engine block. This stage 7. So it was the 7th component, includes parts for the right hand side and the middle parts of the engine to add to the left hand side parts that you receive in the previous issue. So it's just building on to the engine there. I can't wait to do issue or stage 8 with you guys. So I'll see you again real soon. Take care now. Bye bye.